Janica. You seem to be the first in line lately, so welcome back. Good to see you here. How is everyone today? Hopefully you guys are having a great day. Just getting my trainer hands all situated here. They seem to have a mind of their own today, but we'll get them ready here. Just gonna get my nails filed up and ready to go. Hello, hello. Let's see, we've got A and Fairy Freak, Sandra, Janisha, Mrs. Nosbig, Danae, Crafty Karen's. Ooh, I like that. Crafty Karen's DIY. I like that. That's awesome. Joanna, Susie, Joy, Dam Tam, Alexandrina. Did I pronounce that correctly? I hope I did. GGB, Danae. Let's see, Danae's saying, are you going live every day? You guys, I've kind of been filling in the cracks during the week this week. So yes, we've been busy here on YouTube. I've been here the majority of the days. I can't even remember how many days I've been on this week, but yes, I've been kind of filling in for most days this week. We'll see what next week holds, but you guys, we're always going to try to do as much education here on YouTube and also on TikTok and our other platforms to just give you guys as much education as we can. So we are definitely trying to be here as often as possible during the week, so you guys can always join us. And you guys, if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button so that you can set your notifications so you always know when we are going to go live. You can also text us at our texting community, and maybe our moderators can get the phone number into the chat there for you guys, but you can jot it down. It is 714-274-7323, 714-274-7323, and you can text us, and if you text us the word YN Live, all together, all one word, we will also send you notifications when we go live here on YouTube and on Twitch and TikTok. And that way, again, you guys, you can get all of the great education and information. So let's get started on our nail today. Now, you guys, I'm going to give you the spoiler alerts. So those of you that have been looking at mystery boxes, we are going to be using some of the products from the mystery box. So if you don't want to see them, close your eyes real quick. All right, but let's see. We're going to be starting with our black opal gel, and you guys, we have had so many requests for designs with this and how to use this. It is an absolutely gorgeous color. It does only come in the gel mystery box for now, so make sure to grab that while the sale is still going. So we're going to be using that. Miss Leslie, sorry, I didn't pronounce that right. You sense some glitter coming, do you? Well, you have good spidey sense there. We've also got our base gel we're going to be working with. We're going to be using our clear Sculptor. I also need to grab, let me see, my Build Pink. I'm going to be using Build Pink. And then, yes, we are going to be using some glitters. You guys, today we were talking about something that I was not aware of, but there's a kind of a trend called Creepmas. It's not Christmas, it's Creepmas, so it's kind of a creepy Christmas. So we're going to be doing kind of a creepy Christmas design today. Our glitters that we're going to be using are the Silver Holo, what are the Silver Holo trees? I think that's what we've named these. I know, very original, but Silver Holo trees. Those are super, super fun, you guys. I am so excited for these for the holidays. I absolutely love those in my designs. We're also going to be using the Little White Lies. And from our, again, you guys, sorry, spoiler alert. This is also from, this one I believe is from our acrylic mystery box. And this is all of our different confettis. And so let me show you guys these. So these are super, super sparkly. I think a few days ago or maybe last week, I showed you guys all of the different colors that come in this kit. But today we're going to be using the red one from this kit. And this is called Dazzle Drift. So Dazzle Drift is the red glitter or the red confettis that we're going to be using. So super, super sparkly. These are going to add a whole lot of sparkle to our nail. So let's go ahead and jump into our design today. All right, where am I going to start? Let me kind of reorganize, regroup a little bit here. I'm going to grab my magic wand. And you guys, this is our Magic Wand Cuticle Pusher in rose gold. So we're going to use that rounded edge to push back those cuticles, get that good and cleaned up well. And you guys, I always say, I know that we're working on a trainer hand. Our trainer hand really doesn't have a lot of cuticle work to do. She doesn't really have any cuticle work to do. But I always try to stay in that habit of doing the cuticles, because that way you're going to remember to do them when you get to your real client. Now you guys, when you're pushing back cuticles, you guys, please do not judge my cuticles. My nails are severely grown out. I desperately need a fill. But when we're pushing back cuticles, it's not going to take a lot of effort. We're basically just going through, gently pushing that back and exposing. So really what we're doing, we're pushing back the eponychium, which is this skin, this little skin right through here. Okay, that's going to expose that true cuticle, and that true cuticle is that white flaky stuff that's on that nail. So that true cuticle is what is going to seal that natural nail to the skin and to that actual eponychium. So that product, or that cuticle that's on the nail, kind of that white flaky stuff, that's just dead tissue at this point. It's just basically adhered to the nail and kind of grows out with that natural nail. So that's really what we're concerned about removing when we do, push back those cuticles and we do our prep. So when you're pushing back cuticles, you guys, all I did was just a quick push. That's really all that you need to do when you're prepping for those fills or those full sets. You don't have to spend a lot of extra time going through trying to get that all cleaned up perfectly. Oh my gosh, you guys, now I desperately need a fill after pushing back my cuticles. But when we do our prep, we're going to come in with our electric file, and we're going to use our medium sanding band to really just clean off all of that dead protein growth. You guys, just really quick. Again, I'm not doing my own nails today. We got a whole different design that we're going to be doing today. But when you're working on a real nail, all you're going to be doing to prep is just coming up around that cuticle area, just enough to lightly clean up that dead tissue. You guys see how that really worked to kind of clean that up? And I'll show you guys this on kind of this full nail right down here. But another thing you can do you see kind of right in that sidewall, right down in through here? You see how I still have a little bit of that white kind of flaky tissue? Let me grab my other bit. So I'm going to show you another bit that I really like to use, especially on myself, because I know I've got a lot of cuticle buildup on some of my nails here. But this bit that I've got now, this is our, what is this? My brain just stopped for a second. This one is our diamond cuticle square bit. So say that 5 times fast. It's kind of a mouthful. But I really like this bit for getting kind of up into that cuticle area to really clean out any of that cuticle that's really kind of stuck down on the nail. See, especially on this side. Sorry guys, let me get in camera. Especially on this side, I can use this bit to get right around that cuticle area, right around that edge. And you guys, I'm still keeping this bit flat on the nail. I'm not angling it up and trying to use the corner of the bit, but this one is going to get right down into that cuticle area really, really well. Let me show you guys this. It's a very safe bit. Even on that corner, on that edge, you can see I'm using a good amount of pressure. This is not going to cut or damage the skin. It doesn't even really feel like, even as I'm working here, I don't really even feel a lot of heat or anything with it. So it's very gentle, but it is going to have enough grit to really get around that cuticle area and get all of that dead tissue, that dead protein growth really cleaned out of that cuticle area. So if you are struggling with your, maybe in your cuticle area, you might feel like your prep isn't as good as it could be, or maybe if you're still getting a little bit of lifting and you feel like your application is right on, it's possible that you still have a little bit of that excess protein growth still stuck on the nail. So again, this bit, the diamond cuticle square, is an excellent bit to work right up around that cuticle area. Okay, but let's go back to our medium sanding band here, and we'll actually prep our nail for our design today. Laura Martin, yes, this is live right now. We will post this video into our YouTube channel. So you guys, if there's anything that you want to come back and rewatch at a later time, or maybe if you have to cut out during this, during the live stream, you can always come back and rewatch our videos. Let me get just a little bit of a different camera angle here for you guys. All right. so you can see and now I can see too. So we're just going to prep the nail. I've got my medium sanding band on my electric file here, and I'm working at about 5,000 RPMs, just kind of feathering my bit all the way through that nail. Just enough to lightly remove the shine. Now you guys, here's another time where people don't do what they properly should do when they're doing their prep. A lot of times people will go through, they prep their nail, looks like this, and they think, well, that was too fast and too easy. Then they go back through and they prep it some more and prep it some more and prep it some more, and they go over it, over it, over it, over it. You guys, it's not necessary. Your prep should be really quick, really easy. It should be fast. You're just coming up around that cuticle area, feathering that bit all the way through to the free edge, just enough to remove the shine. Catch the sides if you need to at the base of the bit, catch that other side with the top of the bit, and that's it. Okay, I think so many times people overthink their prep and they think that it should take longer, that they need to be more thorough. But you guys, if your nail looks like this, no shine to it, clean, good, you're good to go. Okay, so don't worry. Now, if there is that tiny little bit of shine, use the base of your bit on the right side here. Just kind of pull the base right through that. On your left side, you can use the top part of the bit, pull right through that. Otherwise, if you still can't quite get in there, that's another time when this diamond cuticle square bit will come in handy. You can get right down into those sidewalls a lot easier too. Okay, so again, prep should take 3 to 5 minutes. That's all it should take. Shouldn't take more than that if you're doing it correctly. Okay, all right, let's see. We're gonna grab our manicure brush. And you guys, welcome to everybody that's joining us today. It looks like we've got lots of people joining us, lots of new people. So make sure you subscribe to our channel so you can continue to get all this free education, learn all the fun techniques of doing nails. And I'm just dusting off the nail, just cleaning off any of that little dust that's on there. We want to make sure that we have a nice clean nail and as dust-free as possible. So as I'm dusting, I dust in kind of the direction of the nail. I'm not going across the nail. If you brush across, it's just going to push down those dust pieces down into those sidewalls. And you guys look at that. I have a hangnail hanging there. I know you guys are all going to call me out on that, so let me just clean that right up real quick. All right, now you don't see anything. Okay, so again, we're going to just dust off that nail. After you've dusted that off, now I know dusting the nail seems kind of like a step that, oh, do I really need to do that? I'm going to cleanse the nail anyways with my swipe. But I always mention that, yes, you always want to make sure to dust the nail first before you cleanse, because this way you're going to get all of that little dust off of the nail. If you just go right into your swipe, into your cleanser, it's kind of like adding adding water to a sandbox. You're going to create mud, okay? So if you have all of that little dust that's still on the nail, and then you add the swipe to cleanse it, you're basically going to create mud on the surface. So what we want to do instead, get that nail really, really cleaned off, and then we can go to our swipe, pump a little bit of that onto your manicure brush, and then you can come back in, and that's what you're going to do to cleanse the nail, okay? BMD is asking, what is the cleanser and what does it do? So the cleanser I'm using is our swipe, and you guys, all of the products that I'm using today is from Young Nails. I'm the director of education here for Young Nails, so that's what we're showing today. And I'm using swipe, and what swipe is it's kind of a combination of alcohol and acetone. Now you guys, I always tell people it is a combination of alcohol and acetone, but here's the thing. You don't want to try to be mixing your own. It is the proper balance of alcohol and acetone so that it's going to clean the nail, it's going to kill any germs and bacteria that are on the nail, but it's got enough acetone to it to kind of pull out the oils from the nail and give you a nice clean dry surface without over drying. Okay, so that's why I say don't try to mix your own, just grab the swipe, and that's what's going to really help to clean that nail. Okay, now if we take a look, after we clean the nail, it's going to have kind of that wet look to it. We want to make sure that that swipe completely dries to that dry chalky look. It's almost there. You guys can start to kind of see that texture coming back. There you go. But we want to make sure that we're letting that dry all the way until it looks kind of that chalky dry look again. So that way we know our product is going to adhere really well. And our protein bond, which is the next product we're going to use, our protein bond is going to give us a good bond. If we put protein bond onto the nail while it's still wet, that swipe is really just going to basically cleanse off the protein bond, and it's going to kind of null and void the protein bond. So you want to make sure that you have that nail completely dry before you apply your protein bond. You guys, I'm just going to move one light here really quick. I just want to make sure I'm getting the right view for you guys and the good lighting for you. Okay, I think that's going to be a little better. All right, so again, our protein bond is the next product we're going to use. This is going to go on in just a thin coat onto the natural nail. Now, the purpose of protein bond is to work like a bonder. So we're going to tap out some of that extra. I don't want to just lift my brush and flood that product onto the nail. I want to just kind of tap out some of that extra. We're going to start in the center of the nail and work out to the sides. This way it's going to help me to not flood that product onto the skin. Okay. Now, protein bond is not a primer. It is a bonder. So it doesn't have the methacrylic acid that other primers have. Okay, but even though it doesn't have that methacrylic acid, we still want to make sure that we're keeping it off the skin, off that soft tissue, because it is still a chemical. And over time, if you continuously contact your skin or your client's skin with any chemical, you can start to overexpose your client to those chemicals. Okay, so always making sure that you start in the center, work out to the sides so that you don't overexpose that skin or flood it onto the skin. Okay. All right, let's grab one of our forms. Lots of new people joining us. Everybody, welcome in. Welcome if you're new to our channel. Welcome if you've been here for a while. Thanks for being here. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. It just helps us to be able to give you guys free education on a more regular basis. So the more of you that subscribe, the better we're going to be able to give you education. So let's see, Jessica's saying, I thought MMA was bad to use. You guys, any of the products that I'm using, nothing has MMA product to it, okay? MMA is a chemical called methyl methacrylate, and that is part of an acrylic system, but our products are made from ethyl methacrylate, or EMA. So let me show you guys on the bottle here. So that's a really great question. So yes, right here, ethyl methacrylate. So there is no methyl methacrylate or MMA, okay? There is hydroxypropyl methacrylate, but that's not MMA, okay? So you guys, any product that does have that MMA or methyl methacrylate, it's not generally advised to use on nails. The EMA or ethyl methacrylate is a good, it's a chemical that is approved for use on nails, okay? So just a little clarification there for you, for Jessica. There you go. All right, you guys. So we're going to take our form. I'm going to take that little tab out of the center, stick that right on the back. That's going to give our form a little bit more kind of stability, a little bit more firmness. And then we're going to pinch together. So we've got a silver tab on that side, silver tab on that side. We're going to pinch that form together, get those two little silver tabs together nice and even. And we're just going to pinch just the end of that form. All right. That way, by just pinching the end of our form, it's going to kind of help us to start creating more of an almond shape or a stiletto or a coffin shape. I know you guys, I think I've been doing quite a few stilettos and almond shapes lately. And you guys, I think this design really calls for the stiletto shape today. So maybe next week or maybe tomorrow we'll mix it up and we'll maybe throw in a different shape. But today we're going to stick with the stiletto, just because I think it's going to look the best today. All right. Preppy, can I join your live? You are joined our live. Make sure you subscribe and you can always join our live. All right, you guys, I'm going to start with my form right up underneath that natural nail. Now notice that I don't just come straight in. Let me come in a little closer so you can see a little better. There we go. So I don't just try to shove that form right back underneath that nail. Actually, what I am going to do is I'm going to open up that top, that little perforated edge. That's going to give me a little bit more leeway when I put my form on. But I am going to start at a slight downward angle. So just a slight down angle and just kind of coming up underneath that nail, catch that free edge, and then we're going to lift up on the end of the form. And you guys can see what that does. That brings that form right back underneath that natural nail. But again, I'm not shoving that form back under there, okay? Now I know on a trainer hand like I'm using today, it's a little bit different story. It doesn't really have any skin that you have to worry about poking into. But you guys, on a real nail, I don't know if you can see this or not, on a real nail, I do have skin under there, okay? That's called your hyponychium. And if you try to shove that form up underneath that nail into that hyponychium, that can kind of hurt and it can be painful for your client. So that's why we want to make sure that we're coming from that slight downward angle, lifting up that form just until it comes up flush up underneath that natural nail, and then you're going to have your form coming straight out. So this way it's not poking down into that hyponychium, causing any pain or discomfort. Okay? We're going to check, make sure our form looks straight. We've got a bold line right down the center of our form. Looks like it's a little bit lopsided to me, so I want to make sure to straighten that out. So I'm just going to maybe loosen up my sides here a little bit. Make sure that's coming straight out. There we go. That looks better. And I always like to show this with, let me find my orange wood stick here. There we go. So when you're putting your forms on and you're lining that form up, you want to make sure that that form is straight in line with the finger. So you guys, the center line down the middle here, this bold line right through that point there, I want to make sure that's coming straight out from the whole finger. Okay, so if I line my orange wood stick up from the knuckle up here, through the knuckles, and then down through the nail into our extension, that should be, open that up, that should be a nice straight line. Okay, so you guys can see that's looking like my orange wood stick is coming straight down through the very center of that form. Okay, if your form was a little bit lopsided or anything and it didn't look straight in line with that, just adjust it so that it does look straight. Now something else you can do to check if it's straight, turn that client's hand around and then you can look, let me readjust here real quick. You can adjust that hand and look at that hand so that you're seeing that client's hand straight on, okay? That's going to help you to make sure that all of those nails are straight and all of those forms, so once you have all of the forms on, all of the forms should be going straight in line with each other, okay? So if you're, Eileen Johnson, if your finger's crooked, that's a great question. What do you do if your finger's crooked? You line up from knuckle to the nail. Okay, so if your finger kind of curves off, and my fingers do curve off. Do you see how this one kind of, it's almost off-centered? Actually, a lot of my fingers are starting to look off-centered. But if we look here, if I can hold this without wiggling, if I line that up from my back knuckle here through the end of my nail, you'll see that curve of my finger doesn't matter because my nail is straight in line with my finger. Okay, so hopefully that helps. But again, you guys, line that up straight. And again, when you're holding all of those fingers out, when they have those forms on, those forms should all be looking straight. If they look curved or anything, let me put a form on so you can kind of see what I mean by that. So if you put your forms on and turn that hand around and they look crooked, I'm just gonna pop this one on quick. Then you know to adjust them. Whoops, I stuck that one together. Hang on. Let me grab one more form. I want you guys to really be able to see this because it is important because you want straight nails. You want your nails to go in the proper direction. So again, if we take that form, and you guys, here's another trick. So when I'm doing my own nails, and it's just kind of a trick for working on your own nails, a lot of times I'll put my form on, actually let me just put it on this finger. When I put my form on, because my nail is crooked, a lot of times when I put that form on from this view, it looks like it's straight, but then I'll turn that form or turn my hand around. Do you guys see how it looks like it's going crooked? That's the exact reason you want to make sure that you're looking at your nails or at your client's nails from this view so that you can straighten out that form and make sure that that's going to be now coming straight out from their nail, okay? And even adjusting that little pinch at the end, sometimes we kind of look at this area here. So make sure that you're looking at the area that you're going to be sculpting on, okay? Because sometimes that's a little bit deceiving which direction that's going, okay? So I hope that helps and hope gives you some ideas on how to make sure that your nails are staying on straight or going on straight. And again, you guys, if you're learning something, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Again, I'm starting to see some new people joining us here, so welcome into our live stream today. All right, we're going to start building our nail with our clear sculptor. And I think somebody was asking earlier, are we doing acrylic or are we doing gel? And today we are doing gel. So again, we've got our clear sculptor in our precision applicator tube. Got my form on there. I'm actually going to kind of pinch that a little bit tighter underneath so it looks a little bit more kind of streamlined, a little bit more narrow right in through here. Okay, let me come in a little closer so you can see better. And I'm going to squeeze out a little bit of that clear sculptor onto my form. We'll make sure to pop that little bubble that's on there. We don't want any bubbles on our nails. So squeeze out a little bit of that clear sculptor. I'm going to just kind of use the point of the applicator nozzle here to just kind of drag that. You guys see how it almost gets a little string? I'm going to kind of drag that little string of gel all the way from corner to corner. And then I'm going to start to kind of feather that product, bring that product down the length of my form. Now, if I feel like I need a little more product, I'll come to the center of the nail, squeeze out some more, and then continue to kind of feather over that product to bring that down. Now, at this point, we're not trying to build up any structure. We're not trying to build thickness. All I'm really trying to do is build a platform so that I can put my colors on, my designs on, and just have a surface to work on. Okay, so just kind of slowly feathering that product down. Now I am going to grab, guys, I'm just going to grab a little ceramic tile. This is nothing fancy. Oops, it's just something, I think I just dinged my nail, but we'll fix that. But it's just a ceramic tile that you can get at the hardware store. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy. So let's come back in here and I'm going to grab my brush. Let me find my gel brush here. You guys, we've got our fun new, spoiler alert, our fun new blinged out rhinestone gel brush. This is a size 5. It does come with the handle, so you can have the handle, pop that on the back, and then it becomes a brush cover, and now it becomes a handle. So you got those options. So I'm going to use that tile to just kind of use as a palette to keep my brush clean or wipe off any extra gel or anything like that. And then I'm going to use my brush to really just kind of perfect this. So I kind of dinged that gel a little bit when I was showing you guys the tile. That's okay. I'm just going to kind of feather through it, straighten that out a little bit, clean out my brush, and then I'm going to use the edge of my brush, and I'm just going to kind of draw that sidewall up. So just kind of drawing a nice straight line, again, clean out my brush, but I'm bringing my gel from the point of the nail all the way straight back up into this corner. So by dragging that back, it's going to fill in that little corner right there. Clean out my brush, same thing on the other side. Just going to drag that brush back, bring that product back up into that corner. Now, if you get kind of that little ledge of product right there, you can just kind of feather that out. Okay, not a big deal. Clean out your brush. Now I'm just going to really quickly check. I want to make sure that when I dinged that nail, I didn't have any empty spaces. So I want to make sure that I've got good coverage all the way through. And then we'll get this into the light. Now I'm going to get this in there and then I'll show you exactly what I'm doing here so you guys can see. So we do have our fun blinged out UV LED lamp here. On this one, I have this light set at the 30-second timer. Let me see if I can bring my camera around so you guys can see the back. So on the back, it does have the different settings. So you've got a 15, 30, 60, and 90-second timer. I actually had it on the 60-second timer. I must have hit that earlier doing another nail. But I'm only going to really cure this base layer or this extension layer for 30 seconds. That's all it really needs to go into the light for. Just enough to freeze that product into place. And then we can move on to our next step. Let's see. Laura's asking, can you tell us how to clean your tile when you're done? Yes, remind me when I get to that point, and I will definitely show you how to clean the tile, because that's definitely something you want to know. So next step we're going to do is our base gel. So base is, I always say that base is your foundation, and it's kind of like when you build a house. Not that I build houses or anything like that, but when you build a house, you have to put down a foundation so that house is sturdy. You can't just build a house on sandy gravel and rocks and all of that kind of stuff. You get a strong wind coming through and it's going to blow your house down. Same thing with our gels. We have to apply a base layer to give this nail a foundation. And our base gel is really designed with more resins to it, which will bond best to the natural nail. So all I do is just kind of drag my brush across the surface of that base gel. It is a very thin gel, okay? I'm just gonna tap off that little bit of extra, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of pressure with my brush, brushing that all the way through. Now again, notice that I start more in the center of the nail. I don't necessarily start right back at that cuticle area. I don't want to flood this back into that cuticle, just like when we were putting on our protein bond, making sure that product stays off of the skin, off of that cuticle area, and only comes in contact with the natural nail. Now again, with the base gel, just a thin layer, okay? We don't need a whole lot of thickness with this. We just need a bonding layer. Okay, now if we take a look from the side, you can kind of see there's a little bit of a ledge, a little bit of a drop down between where my natural nail is and onto that form. So a lot of times what I like to do is I'll take just a little bit more of that base gel, just kind of drag that right through where that natural nail connects to the free edge. So where it connects to that extension. This way it really ensures that my natural nail is going to be bonded to our free edge. And then I also got less of a ridge. So it's going to be a little bit more of a smoother application all the way through there. Okay. This one as well is going to go back into our light. And this is also going to go in for a 30-second freeze. So I'm actually going to change the, let me see if I can show you again. I'm going to change the time on my timer back here. Whoops, you guys, sorry, I'm trying to hold the camera and not wiggle and all of that stuff. So let me come in closer. So I'm actually going to hit the 30-second button. So then it's going to change my timer. Notice also you can see right here, this is our battery power too. So the light that I'm using right now, it is a cordless unit. So when it needs to be charged back up, when that little indicator goes down to empty, I will charge up my light again and it'll be ready to go. You can use them while they are plugged in. So it's kind of a great tool. So you don't have to worry if it's not charged up, you're not out of luck. Okay, so you're good to go still, but you can just use it plugged in. So just another 30-second freeze on that nail. And then let's come back out here. So we're going to take that form off at this point. So I'm just going to pinch that form underneath, make sure it completely releases. And you guys, I like to use my nails to kind of make sure that product is released. You can also use, where did it go? My magic wand. So you can use your magic wand if you need to use kind of that little edge of that magic wand. Just making sure that that product is completely released from that form before you pull it down. Because like I was saying earlier, we weren't creating any structure, we weren't creating any thickness. All we were creating was a platform. So that's all I have, a very thin platform. Now you can see I've got a couple of little pieces hanging off the end. So what I like to do in that case is you can use one of a couple of things. You can use a straight edge toenail clipper, or you can use a nice sharp nipper, whichever one you prefer. Honestly, you guys, I think it's easier with the straight edge toenail clipper, but either one works just fine. You want to come right underneath, and we're just going to clip a nice straight line. And you guys, I always say make sure that it's a straight edge toenail clipper, not the rounded one, so not something like that, okay? Trying to use that's not going to get that straight line, and it's probably going to crack your gel. So make sure that you're working with that straight edge, okay? This is going to help you to clip off any little kind of hanging pieces on the sides. You can turn that hand over to the other side as well. And again, clip off anything that's hanging. This way, when you go to do your finish filing, you're not going to have as much work to do, and it's going to be much easier. Okay, now you guys, I wasn't able to really get my toenail clipper back into that corner, so that's kind of where maybe I would decide, there's a little piece right there, that's where maybe I would decide to use my nippers instead. But I would recommend having a separate pair of nippers that you use just for enhancements like this versus ones that you're going to use on your client's cuticles, because as you're nipping on the product like this, it will kind of dull your nippers down. So make sure that you're not trying to use this to cut those cuticles like I did earlier. Okay, so just an option to help you kind of in the long run. All right, you guys, are you ready? Are you ready for the fun stuff? So we got kind of the basics done. We've got the foundation done. We've got our nail ready to go here. Let's get our colors. So again, we're gonna be working with, spoiler alert, we're gonna be working with our black opal gel. You guys, again, this is from our mystery box, and our Black Friday sale goes until December 2nd, but you guys, I think the mystery boxes are probably going to sell out way before then. So if you're wanting this product, make sure you jump over to the Young Nails website, youngnails.com. Again, you guys, I'm sorry, somebody said not much of a sale in the UK. You guys, this Black Friday sale is US and Canada only. I apologize, we don't ship to other countries like that, but we do have other distributors in other countries. So check on, you can always check our website to find a local distributor near you, and then you can check and see what kind of sales and deals they've got going on. Okay. All right, I'm going to clean out my brush again. And let's come in a little better angle here so you can see everything. All right, so again, clean out my brush, make sure I don't have any other gel in there. I'm going to take a pretty good scoop of this gel. Actually, let me come right under there. There we go. So getting kind of a good scoop, just kind of coming under that gel, lift up, and then I turn my brush over and tap that little string off. Now you guys, do you see how on the back side of my brush, I don't have any gel, but I have all of that gel on the front side? That's really important when you're working with the gel, that you don't just go, let me show you what you don't want to do. You don't want to just try to go straight in there and just kind of swirl it around and scoop it up, because what's going to happen is you're going to just start to make a mess, okay? Having all of that gel on the back and the front, you're really not going to know how to work, so, or where to work with your brush. So I always recommend keeping your brush as clean as possible. Clean out that extra. Okay, it's okay if I kind of draw my brush through a little bit of that clear gel that's on there, but you may need to turn your brush, or turn that little tile on the side to get a nice clean space to wipe your brush. Looks like I've got a little bit of a piece of lint in my brush, so I just want to make sure to clean that up. So again, I'm going to take my brush, kind of scoop down in so that I'm keeping the back side of my brush clean. So kind of scooping in, scooping up that gel, lift up, turn my brush over, tap off that string, so again, it keeps the back side of my brush clean, okay? All right, again, lots of newbies or new people joining us. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button before we go on here. Join our channel, join our community, get all the free education. So to start by pressing that product down onto the nail, that way it's gonna kind of release from my brush. Now I can work in a circular motion, and on my left side, I work in a counterclockwise motion, pushing that product to that cuticle area, work back up to the right side, working in a clockwise motion. By working in kind of these circular motions, it's going to get that product nice and close to that cuticle without touching. And I'm just going to release my product here really quick. You guys notice that there's just a tiny hairline of space all the way around that cuticle and that sidewall. That's really important, especially with gel, because if you do get any of that product actually touching the skin, it's not going to get a good seal onto the nail, and it's going to probably start to have issues with lifting. So you want to kind of pivot your brush to the side. You see how I kind of turn my brush, pivot your brush to the side, and that's going to also help to keep that product right inside the nail, but I'm also going to just kind of be working in a back and forth motion to bring that product down the length of my nail. Now, if you want a thicker, more bold kind of a color, you can use a little bit more of the gel. I'm actually going to kind of thin this out just a little bit. I don't want it completely sheer, but I want just a little bit of sheerness to it, if that makes any sense. So just kind of keeping it a little bit of a thinner application, and just kind of feathering that product. So you guys, I'm not brushing all the way down to the surface of the nail. I'm kind of staying on the top of that gel and just kind of, again, using that little trail or that little tail of product to just kind of blend that forward, okay? Kelly Walker, yes, this is the black opal, that surprise, or sorry, spoiler alerts, that does come in the gel mystery box. So if that's what you're wondering, yes. Okay, so I'm just going to, again, set this into place. We're going to go back into our light here. Again, now for a 30-second freeze. I'm just going to set that product into place. The 30 seconds isn't going to completely cure it out, but I'm not going to worry because we're going to do other layers of gel on top of this, and the other layers are going to fully cure that. So what we are gonna do while that's getting ready is I'm gonna grab my silver hollow Christmas trees. And you guys, I'm gonna clean off my little tile here really quick. So that person that was asking, I hope that you are still here with us. So I'm gonna clean this off, and I'm just gonna use either a little bit of polish remover or a little bit of swipe. And I'm just using a table towel. It's just the table towels that I've cut up. It's just these table towels that I have on the table. I cut them up into smaller pieces so that I can use those. I usually use them to wipe my acrylic brush on, but I'm gonna use that with, let me grab that. Again, you can use either swipe or onto the next polish remover. Just pump a little bit of that onto your lint-free wipe or your table wipe. And then you can just clean and wipe that surface off so you've got a nice clean spot to work on. So what I'm gonna do is, we're gonna take some of those silver hollow Christmas trees. And you guys, with these, I actually will pick those up with my fingers. And I don't need a lot of them, but I'm just gonna kind of run them through my fingers like that, because they can stick together a little bit. And sometimes you get like two stuck together right on top of each other. So just kind of run them through your fingers like that, and they'll separate a little bit better. Okay. All right, then we're gonna use, I'm trying to decide if I want to put these in the nail or on the nail. So you guys, I need your help. I want you to tell me, do you want these in the nail or on the nail? Now what I mean by that is, if it's gonna be in the nail, let's see you guys, again, don't judge my nails, they're desperately needing a fill. But, excuse me, in the nail is gonna be something kind of like the Mylar in here that's deep down into that nail, whereas on the nail is more like that white cloudiness that's on top. So it's gonna give a little different look, a little bit different dimension. And if we put them in the nail, we're gonna be able to see them deep into the nail. If we put them on the nail, they're gonna be on the surface, and we're gonna see more kind of depth to the nail. So I'm seeing in the nail, in the nail, in the nail, in, okay, you guys, you wanna see that in the nail, so we'll put those in the nail. So same thing, I'm just gonna take a little pinch of those, put those onto my tile. Now those are a little bit trickier to see that white on white, but we'll be okay. And then we're gonna take some of, you guys, all right, y'all say in the nail. So we'll do in the nail. And then this is another spoiler alert, but this is Dazzle Drift. And this is that really sparkly confetti that is in the acrylic mystery box. So I'm gonna take just a little scoop of that, yeah, maybe a little bit more. I'm not sure how much of that I'm gonna need. But you guys, the fun part about this confetti is that it has those different sizes. So you can see I can use all of those different sizes, the small, medium, large, just for kind of a different look. So again, we've got that red, we've got our white, and we've got our Christmas trees. And you guys, we are doing, if you weren't here with us from the beginning, we are doing a Creepmas design today. Not a Christmas nail, but a Creepmas nail. So for all those people that like that creepy Christmas look, that's what we've got today. So again, we've got our layer of that black opal gel. We're gonna come back to our base gel. So I've got that base gel out here. Let me come back out. So we've got our base gel. I'm gonna make sure my brush is nice and clean that out on my tile here. We're gonna pick up, just like we did before, kind of drag my brush through, tap off that extra. We're gonna brush on a fairly thin layer. We don't need a lot of product, and we don't need that little piece of fuzz that's on there. So I wanna make sure, I don't know where it's hiding in there, but I think maybe I got it. So you guys, if you do get that little piece of fuzz on there, it's fine. Just make sure to just kind of wipe it off, reapply your gel, not a big deal. Just tell your clients it's a little added nail art for the day. No extra charge on that. There we go, there it comes. All right, so again, we've got that nice thin layer of our base gel. And you guys, you can use either your brush, or if you have, this is our little rhinestone picker-upper from a previous collection. I'm just gonna use that. I'm gonna touch my little Christmas trees. I'm gonna set those down onto my nail. Let me come in a little closer so you can see. It's kind of tricky to see sometimes the reflection of some of these. So as I'm working, do you see how I kind of rotate that finger, and then you can see where that reflection is? So that way I can kind of tell where my design is, where it's looking, if I like how it's working or how it's looking, and I can kind of adjust and add as needed. So So I think we're going to push that one up. Now, when you guys are working with kind of some of these larger pieces of confetti, you want to be careful that you don't put them too close to the end of the nail. If you did bring this all the way down here, do you kind of see how the little points of the tree are sticking out on the sides? That is probably going to end up getting filed off. So try to keep those a little bit maybe more centered, or kind of away from those. So you just see how I'm kind of angling those trees a little bit so that it's gonna stay a little bit more centered and more actually on the surface of the nail, okay? We're gonna do the same thing with our red confettis. We're just gonna kind of place those in there. Whoops, that one didn't wanna stick. And just kind of setting those down into that wet, uncured gel. So just kind of tapping those in. Setting those down in there. And you guys, when you're doing this kind of a nail, when you're doing a dimensional nail where you're adding in things into the nail, and especially when you're taking the time to specifically place them, this is taking you more time, it's taking you more skill. So you guys, when you're doing these kind of nails, what are you doing? You're charging more for them, okay? So nails like this, again, they take a little more time, so you guys should be taking or should be charging a little bit more for that time, for that proper placement, and that's, you know, specific placement. So again, charge a little bit more. Okay, so we've got our red on there. Let's get our little white confettis in between. Just kind of wherever you feel like you want. It's almost like a big chunky snowflake in there. That's kind of what I'm envisioning with these. So again, just kind of touching onto those confettis, setting them down into that wet gel. Again, the gel is not cured at this point, and we're just going to place those. I think that's looking good. What do you guys think? Are we liking the set so far? Anybody else celebrating a creepy Christmas this year? Let me know in the chat if you're celebrating creepy Christmas this year. I want to know. Okay, I think at this point I'm liking how that's laid out. I've got my Christmas trees on there. I've got my red and my white on there. I'm going to put this back into the light. I know you guys, back and forth into the light. And I think you're probably seeing, you know, seeing these nails go into the light, back out, into the light, back out. When you're working on a full set, it's not going to be as much kind of back and forth. You're going to have one hand in the light while you're working on the other. And that's why you guys having two lights on your station is going to be so much easier for you if you're working on clients. So they can have one hand in the light at once. You're working on this one, put that one in the light, take that one out. And just kind of alternate back and forth and back and forth, okay? So just an easier trick. Oh my gosh, you guys, looks like a lot of you are celebrating Creepy Christmas, or Creepmas is what I'm being told it's called. So if you're celebrating Creepy Christmas this year, this is going to be a fun design for you guys to do. So I'm going to close up my base gel. We're all done with that one. We are done with our black opal. I am going to find my, where is it hiding? There it is. Now we're going to come back to our Build Pink, and we're going to cap this whole nail with the Build Pink. Now, you could use either the clear Sculptor that we started with, that would work fine. The regular build in just the clear would work fine, but a lot of times I like to use the Build Pink, especially when I'm working with confettis, and even that, you guys, that gold kind of shimmer in our black opal under there, it really brightens up when I'm using the Build Pink. So we're just going to encapsulate everything now with the Build Pink. So I'm going to squeeze out a little bit of that gel, just like we did with that black opal. I'm going to kind of work in that circular motion, back around up to the other side in that circular motion. Now notice, you guys, I have the finger angled almost straight down. This is going to help me to bring my product down the length of the nail without it running down into my cuticle area, like we've been kind of talking all along. You want to make sure that you're not getting product on the skin, that you're keeping it on the nail so that we don't have to worry about any issues with allergic reactions or contact dermatitis. The more you keep the product off the skin, the safer everything is going to be. So always keep that in mind. And so keeping that finger angled down, our gel is going to kind of flow down the length of the nail rather than back up into those sides. Now we're going to just kind of take a quick look here. I'm gonna grab my brush, make sure my brush is clean. Just gonna kind of check around my edges, make sure that I've got product all the way around my edges. And then we're gonna go back into the light. We're gonna just kind of freeze this back into place again for just another quick 30 seconds. After that 30 seconds, I'm gonna check this nail and I'm gonna make sure, does it have any lumps or bumps on it? Does it have any maybe kind of low spots or like little divots in there or anything? And then we'll be able to fill that in. But I wanna get that kind of first layer into place so that it doesn't, again, run down the sides or move on me, okay? And honestly, even just a quick 10-second freeze is sometimes even enough just to stop that product from moving. But now we're gonna take a look from the side view, and I actually think we're looking pretty good. So if we take a look, what we're trying to achieve here is a nice thin and tapered cuticle area, which I think we've got that. We've got a little bit of thickness right up into our stress area here. Got a little bit of fuzz on my brush here. But I don't think we have the proper amount of product right through the highest point, where we need our highest point to be. So our highest point needs to be right in what's called the stress area. And you guys, if you look at your own nail, your stress area, if you don't have any product on or anything, if you press down on the free edge, you're gonna see right in through here is gonna kind of turn white. That's your stress area. It's kind of pressing the blood flow away from that area. Obviously, you can't see it on the trainer hand, but when you press down, that area that kind of turns white, that's the stress area. So that's where if you jam your nail or bump your nail or anything, all of that pressure is going to go into your stress area, and that's where it's going to be more likely to crack and break. So that's the area that we need to make a little bit thicker. So if you take a look at this nail, you can see that, I'm going to get that little fuzz off of there. You can see that the highest point of my nail is all the way back towards here. I want to make sure that the highest point is more right in through here, and it's going to just flow up from the cuticle to the high point and then down to my free edge. So I do want to add a little bit more product to make sure that I'm building up that stress area. So we're just going to put a little bit of product right down the center of that nail, kind of fade it out to the end, and then I'm just going to use my brush just to kind of blend that out. Oh my gosh, are you guys seeing that reflection of those Christmas trees? Oh, I love it. It's so pretty so far. So pretty. I can't wait to get this one filed out. But I think I'm going to get this back into the light. And just, oops, sorry guys. Just going to kind of readjust a little bit of that, bring a little bit over to the left side here. And then I'm going to get that back into the light. And again, freeze that for just a few seconds, again, just to stop the movement. And then I'm going to check it one more time. I think we're going to be okay with how our structure is, but I do want to check it just one more time to make sure before I do a final cure. So just enough to set that kind of into place. So now if we take a look, all right, that's definitely looking a little better. I know now that I've got enough product through here. I still have a little bit of extra bulk right through the back area, but we'll file that down quick and easy. But I've got enough structure through here and enough structure to support my free edge. If we look at this down the barrel now, straight down the barrel there, from here, I can still see I've got enough thickness all the way through that nail. So I think we're looking good. So now at this point, got my other light turned on here. Oops. So I've got my other light on my other side. This one over here is set to my 60-second timer. So this one, I'm going to put the nail in here for that full 60 seconds. Now you guys are hearing the light beep when it goes in. On this one, I have the beep timer turned on. When I went into the light over on my other side here, I have the beeper turned off. So you guys, on these new lights, you can adjust that. So if you want that beep on, you can have that beep on. If you want to turn it off, if it kind of bothers you or annoys you or anything, you can definitely turn that off. So, but that's going to go into the light for full 60-second cure. Make sure it's cured all the way through. I'm going to just really quickly clean off my tile here. And you guys, any of those last little bits and pieces, you could either save those in a container, or I'm telling you guys, you get so much glitter in these containers that I'm not too worried about just tossing those last couple of pieces. That's okay. All right, so that is cleaned out. When our nail comes out of the light, it is going to have a tacky surface on it. So we want to make sure that we clean that tacky surface off. And now we know that our nail is done curing. It's not an easy bake oven, you guys. It is a UV LED light. But it does have that tacky surface on there. So we're going to take a lint-free wipe, and these are just like the little lint-free wipes that we've got. It's not the table towels this time. And we're going to grab our swipe, take a little pump of swipe onto that lint-free wipe, come back here, and let me readjust so you guys can see. We're going to wipe off and cleanse off that tacky surface. Now, you guys, I want you to see how I wiped the nail. I kind of set that wipe down on the nail and wipe kind of up and around, and then I pull forward. Then I actually fold that wipe in half, and then I'll give it, oops, pulling my nail off here. Then I'll give it one more wipe. What that's going to do, let me get my nail back in here. The reason that I do that is because that tacky surface that we just wiped off, that's uncured gel. I want to make sure that I'm pulling that away from her skin and not just rubbing that back up onto her skin. Because what happens is if you start just kind of rubbing that back onto the skin, again, that uncured gel is going to come in contact with her skin, which can, in future, if overexposed, can lead to contact dermatitis and allergies. So again, that's why I give the nail a wipe forward, fold that in half, and then I'll give it one more wipe just to make sure that everything is nice and clean. Okay, then I go to my next nail, give it a wipe, fold it in half again, wipe again. Now you guys, you notice you may go through a few of the wipes as you're cleaning the nails, and that's okay, but as long as you're pulling all of that extra uncured gel off of the skin and away, or off of the nail and away from the skin, you're going to be just fine. Okay, so you guys, lots of little hints today, lots of little tips and tricks today. So I'm going to grab my dust collector. Let me come out so you guys can see what I got going on here. I'm going to turn that right side in here. So this one, you guys, just like our UV LED lights, it's all blinged out. This is also a cordless unit, so you can see I'm just turning on the power here. We'll turn that all the way up to 10. Get that going. So it's going to pull all the dust away as I'm filing. Yeah, let me get you a better view. There we go. Now I'm going to be using my electric file again. We're going to switch from that sanding band that we started with. We're going to go to our X-Cut carbide. And we're going to put that in. I'm going to leave a little bit of space. Because I'm working on a longer nail, I want to leave a little bit of space so that I can get all the way through that. Now you guys, the X-Cut carbide is a coarse carbide. So you can see kind of the teeth on it. It is designed to shave down acrylic product or gel, you know, hard gel if you've got hard gel, but it's designed to shave down product. So it's not a bit that you ever want to use on the natural nail. This is only for over enhancements, acrylics, hard gels, things like that. We also have our safety bit course, which is the same exact bit as the X-Cut. It just has a rounded top. So if you feel a little bit more comfortable, this one's great for beginners. Working up around that cuticle area. So if you don't feel quite comfortable using the X-Cut just yet, you can use that safety bit and feel a little bit better. Okay. Somebody's asking, after wiping, it's not tacky anymore? Correct. So the wiping with the swipe, that pulled off all of that tacky uncured gel. Now we're left with just solid cured, fully cured gel. Okay. So we're going to start by shaping our perimeter. And by perimeter, I mean sidewalls and free edge. So our sidewalls here, and then our free edge is really going to be more of a point. So we don't have a lot of work to do on the free edge, but we are going to come in and straighten out those sidewalls. So I'm pulling my bit down on my left side. If you guys, if I'll kind of turn from the side here, you can see what area of the bit I'm using. Now, if you actually look really close to my bit here, you'll see the area that has all of that dust. That's the part of my bit that I'm using to file. Okay, I'm not working all the way at the base. I'm not using just the top part of my bit. I'm using kind of, let me turn this off so you can really see. So again, right through here, right through where all that dust is, that's the area that I'm putting pressure. Actually, I'm not even putting pressure. I'm just making contact with my bit. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with that same area of my bit on the right side. So same area of my bit. Again, I'm not trying to work all the way back up into the base of my bit, okay? So again, straight down with, I would say, about the top third of that bit, I'm going to push back on my right side. You always want to be working your bit in the opposite, or let's see, you want to move your bit in the opposite of the rotation of the bit. So you want to make sure that you're kind of feeling some resistance. You don't want your bit to just slide right through and right over that nail. If it just slides right over the nail without any of that resistance, it's not actually filing, it's not actually taking down product, okay? So make sure you feel a little bit of that resistance, okay? We're going to turn the nail on the side, and now I'm going to use a little bit more of kind of that top part of the bit, because I'm going to come just right underneath that product and just kind of pushing my bit back, just straightening out that lower arch, making sure that that comes nice and straight out from that natural nail. Turn the client's hand on the side. And you guys, do I turn my actual client's hand on the side like this? Yes, okay? Come back out, okay? If you're holding your client's hand like this, to try to get underneath and get that straight lower arch, you're probably going to come in at a strange angle. But if you actually turn their finger on the side, you're going to have that perfect view to get that lower arch nice and straight, okay? It's not anything that's uncomfortable. If I was, if I were the client getting my nails done, I'm just going here and I'm going here, okay? So it's not anything uncomfortable. It's actually very easy. All right, once we've got that, make sure we're good here. You guys, again, make sure if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, join our community, get this free education. Our moderators are reminding you guys that we have over 3,000 videos for you here of free information to help you with your nail techniques. So make sure to join our community and have access to all of that. So we're going to come right up around that cuticle. Now remember what we were talking about earlier about getting kind of a flow, having that product flowing right down to that natural nail? That's exactly what we're creating here. Now I'm keeping my bit flat on the nail. I'm not using just this corner. I'm using about the top, I would say the top 2/3 of my bit to come right up around that cuticle. Okay, so that's going to help to give you that nice taper. Once we've got our cuticle nice and tapered, I'm going to work right down the center. So if I turn this nail on the side here, you guys, my bit, I'm just going to turn this off for a second. My bit is positioned right in the middle of the nail and I'm working out to the side. Now you're probably wondering, how do I get all the way over here? We'll get to that. But for now, it's just from the middle over, okay? And I'm actually looking at this nail from this view. Let's turn our bit back on. So I'm looking at this. So the view that you guys see, this is exactly what I'm seeing as I'm filing this nail. So again, just from the center over. Now, if you start trying to go all the way from side to side, you see how your bit kind of disappears behind that nail? You can't see what that bit is hitting. A lot of times when you come over to the side like that, a lot of times you're going to catch that skin on the side and potentially cut your client's skin on the side. It could also catch on that side and potentially wrap around. We want to make sure that we're not doing that, so that's why we stay just from the center over to the side. And we're looking at this nail so that we can see the arch. We want to see how our thickness is, and our thickness from the cuticle up to that high point, that stress area, and then back down to that free edge. So now we're just kind of putting in that preliminary shaping. So we're going to thin out that free edge a little bit. Now, here's where we can take down the bulk from this side, okay? We're going to look straight down the barrel of the nail. Now you can see, here's where we've already filed. Now we just need to take the bulk from here and bulk from here. So we're going to come a little closer. I'm just going to make contact now with the top part of my bit on the left side. Pull forward. Just making contact, you guys. I'm not using a lot of pressure. I'm letting the bit do the work for me. On the right side, I'm going to use more of the base of the bit. Make contact and pull forward. You guys, if you ever feel like you have to use pressure with your bit is probably dull, or you're probably using too low of a speed. So kind of check both of those things. You guys, bits do wear out. They're not going to look like they're worn out, but if you do feel like you need to start adding pressure, or if you feel like, it's just taking you a long time to do that service, it's probably that your bit is dull, okay? All right, so we've got our nail pretty much into shape here. I am going to switch back to my sanding band. So the sanding band is the bit that we were using to prep the natural nail to begin with. And what I'm going to do now is just go around kind of my sidewalls, kind of all over those same spots, and just refine. Now I turned my speed down to 7,000 RPMs because I don't need that higher speed when I'm working with a sanding band. Just going through and just kind of, again, making contact, pulling that bit all the way through. Again, from the center down to the sides. We'll turn that finger, look straight down the barrel, pull forward, just touching everything up. Now you guys might be asking, why am I doing this versus continuing with my other bit or just going right into my hand file? The reason is I can get a little bit more precise with this bit than I can with my X cut. So I can kind of refine a little bit more. And then also anything that I can do with my electric file that I'm still going to go through with my hand file, but the more I can do to perfect this nail with my electric file, the easier that's going to be on my hands, on my wrists, on my shoulders, on all of that, because it's much easier. Let me back out here a second. It's much easier for me to work with a hand motion like this, just like I'm writing, than it is when I'm using my hand file. I'm going to do with hand, wrist, shoulders when I'm using that hand file. But again, I am going to come in with my file. We're going to start by straightening out the sidewalls. Just cleaning those up nice and easy. Same thing on the other sidewall. And again, you guys, I'm just perfecting at this point. So the majority of my filing is done with my electric file. Just going to come through, refine those lower arches, make sure everything's nice and straight. I'm going to come up around my cuticle area, again making sure that there's no ledge or anything that my client is going to catch on. Coming around those sides, coming around those sides. And just kind of rounding and contouring. And then coming through, and I'm going to turn that nail kind of on the side. I'm going to put pressure with my file right here at that free edge, and I'm just going to kind of file backwards. You can file in both directions, but what this is going to do by putting that pressure at the free edge, let me see if I can turn this. I'm kind of keeping my file at a slight upward angle, so I'm not actually filing into this area here. I'm just thinning out and tapering that free edge, okay? Then we'll turn the client's hand around. So just like we were looking at in the beginning, when we were putting those forms on, we want to make sure that the client's nails are straight. So I'm going to look from the view that she's going to see her nails. She's going to look at her nails like this. So I want to make sure that I'm seeing exactly what she's seeing on those nails. So we're just going to come around here, perfect that little point at the end. And then I'm going to look backwards down the barrel of the nail, just kind of flowing my file all the way through from side all the way up and over to the other side. That's how I'm going to get a really nice contour, a really nice rounded shape over the top of that nail. And I think we're almost good. All right. Looking good. Okay. I'm going to turn my dust collector off. Now, you guys, I'm going to ask for your second opinion here. Do you want one more addition to this nail, or should we just top coat? Oh, I see somebody's already in the top coat chant here. Top coat, you guys want top coat? Okay. All right. Top coat, okay. So I'm just going to dust this nail off. Top coat, all right, you guys want to see top coat? Okay. I'll do top coat. All right, so we're just going to dust that nail off. I'm going to cleanse the nail with our swipe. Again, just like we were using before, pump a little bit of that onto our brush. And we will just clean off this nail. Now, you guys, I do want to show you something really quickly. So just as kind of a future reference kind of a thing. So if we take a look here, I want you guys to look right up here. Do you see how there's a little bit of red, but then there's silver showing? You guys, these confettis, it's just something to be aware of, but I think it's actually going to look kind of cute with our design here. These confettis are a silver confetti with a colored coating, okay? So this is why I always try to put my confettis down a little bit deeper, but this one I actually had a little bit too close to the surface, and I filed into that color. So it did file off the color. Not a big deal. Again, I think it looks kind of fun with this design, but just something for you guys to be aware of. Kind of like I was saying, make sure that when you're positioning those trees, that you position them so you don't have those edges poking out. Same kind of thing with those confettis. So you might file through that. Again, not a huge deal, but just something to be aware of. Okay. All right, let's go ahead with our protein bond. Whoops, that was my little protein bond. Let's grab our good size one here. So we're gonna do one more coat of our protein bond. And you guys, those of you in the chat that know what time it is, go ahead and I think a lot of you have already started the top coat chant, but those of you that are new to our channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and then you can join us with our top coat chant in the chat, which is just top coat, top coat. However many times you want to chat top coat, pop that into the chat. And let me we'll grab the ultimate finish. I know, surprise, surprise, but I love the ultimate finish because it's a quick and easy top coat. When you brush it on, it's a little bit on the thicker side. So if you have maybe just a slight uneven surface or anything like that, it's going to kind of fill in. It's going to kind of settle down into any little low spots or any nicks or anything. And also with that little part that I filed off, it's going to really seal that little part in, and I'm not going to worry about that at all. We're going to cure the ultimate finish for a full 60 seconds in the UV light, and it's going to come out with a tack-free finish. So you guys, I'm just going to pop this in for 30 seconds just so you guys can see the final look without it kind of running or flowing or anything. Whoops, get that in there. And then you guys will be able to see. But hopefully you guys have some fun today. Again, we used the confettis. Again, you guys, this is from the, these are from the acrylic mystery box. Sorry, spoiler alert, but these are all from the acrylic mystery box. They come together all as a set. We've also, we're using the black opal gel. And that is that absolutely gorgeous one. Did somebody say add a spider web? And you guys, I'm going to tell you, my first thought with this nail was to add a spider web over it or something along those lines, because I was kind of looking at designs for Creepmas, Creepy Christmas, and a lot of them had kind of skulls and skeletons and things like that. You guys, I can't paint a skeleton, but I could have done a cobweb on that or a spider web on that. So that might be something that you guys could add in if you do try this design. So make sure you guys, if you do try these designs, tag us, tag Young Nails so that we can see you guys taking these designs and making them your own. Nails by, let's see, Nails by Soham, cuticle oil. Yes, I know our client and I need cuticle oil desperately, but you guys, it's a mannequin. We'll be okay. But again, my lighting is just kind of off here. I really want you guys to see that glow. There we go. Let me come in a little closer. But again, those silver hollow Christmas trees, you guys, they are on sale right now. They're going to be on sale. Everything that I was using here is on sale until December 2nd. Again, you guys, the mystery boxes, they may sell out. So if you're even considering the mystery boxes, I would say shop soon so that you can get those. Again, that black opal gel that we were using here, the black opal, that is in the gel mystery box. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at that. That's a great view. That is a great view. And then the confettis that I was using, those are in the acrylic mystery box. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff in the mystery boxes as well. So make sure to check those out on the website, youngnails.com. Make sure if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. And I believe we will be back again tomorrow. But if you haven't set your notifications, make sure you set your notifications here on YouTube. And also you can text us for notifications at 714-274-7323. You can always rewatch our videos here on our YouTube channel. We've got over 3,000 other videos for you guys to watch, so make sure that you don't miss out on any of this great free education and information. So you guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Happy Creepmas! Thanks, everybody.